So anyways, I was watching the F1 race in Austria, which, by the way, there's something fucking crazy going on in Austria right now. Jewish people, relax. It's not that. Well, it's kind of is. It's kind of related to that. Then in England, like all their shit is old, because that's the origins of white people. Unless you listen to a Nas album, and somehow we all came from Egypt, which they're not really black either, are they? They're like Arab. You know what I mean? But he's like, yeah, they're African. It's like, all right, well, I'm German and Irish. Do I also claim to be Italian because I'm European? Like Africa's a continent. I've never been able to. So you're saying that we all came from Egypt? I'll tell you right now, there's no fucking way I did. If you ever saw my fucking legs, I don't know how fucking long ago my ancestors left Africa. Or how, and then we did what? We sat in a fucking snow jacuzzi for fucking 2,000 years? I don't know. But I do believe that we had to all come from the same fucking, whatever, lake. Do you realize what you're listening to right now? You're listening to a comedian trying to figure out, like, just because he watched like 10 minutes of Neil deGrasse Tyson, whatever the fucking name is, as he's falling asleep. And if I can quote deGrasse Tyson, whatever the fuck his first name is, I believe he thinks we came from trees. And I don't mean like we were living in trees, like we were apes. He's like, no, trees. Like, that was one of those things where I was just like falling asleep. It's like, this fucking guy's crazy. I fell asleep. I never saw the other part of it. But you know what the deal is. You'd go over his house and he'd convince you of it. You go over and he'd have on a turtleneck with a sport coat over it, like smoking a pipe, and there'd be a fire in the fireplace, right? He'd come in and he'd have all these fucking artifacts. You know, you and your wife show up. There's these other couples there. And you're just thinking, like, this guy's either going to fucking tell me the secrets of the world, or I'm going to slowly lose consciousness and end up in one of those Silence of the Lamb pits trying to steal his dog. Anyways, the fuck am I talking about? So what happened in Austria? So what's happening in Austria? It might have already been solved. I just remember seeing it a little while ago because a couple weeks ago I was trying to see where the F1 circuit was taking them next. And I guess in Austria, Hitler's house still exists, like where he was born, but it's more like an apartment building. So I guess all these neo-Nazis go there, and they do like the neo-Nazi like YOLO selfie, instead of doing the peace sign. I bet this, but you can't do like a full Sieg Heil, in a selfie. That's a hard. Your arms aren't long enough to hold it out, so they probably do it to the side, where it's just from the elbow to the tip, and then they do the duck face, right? I guess they've been doing that. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're doing some shit like that in front of it. And for some reason, people feel that if you take that place down, that, those guys aren't going to continue to exist. I don't know about that. What? I mean, what are people going, I was going to be a neo-Nazi, but then they took down Hitler's fucking building, so whatever. So there's somebody that owns it, and he's like, nah, I'm not tearing this shit down. And the government's like, right, we're going to fucking seize it. All right? That's how they talk in Austria, too. Everybody talks like my bad sort of fucking English accent, maybe. Well, I don't know what the fuck it is. Davy Jones, whatever I'm doing. So there's some big battle about that, and they're going to, like, knock it down. But I got to be honest with you. As much as I'm not down with the Nazis, like, if I went to Austria, I would go see that place. I would be like the most evil baby, the Jordan of evil babies. Fucking came home to that place right there. People walked in and saw baby Hitler and were like, oh, isn't he adorable? Look at his eyes. There's a lot going on in there. So they want to get rid of that. I don't know. I thought that was fucking interesting. Like, this is what kills me. Like, who fucking... How do people know that that's where he grew up? So many people fucking died in World War II. You'd think that anybody that even remotely fucking remembered it. The old people go, oh, tell you, remember that when he grew up in that place right down the street, and he always had a funny look on his face. Oh, I never liked him, right? They just passed the story on. It's too juicy a gossip that it just, fucking Hitler, it just keeps getting passed down to the point they got to knock down this perfectly good fucking building. I guess it needs to be redone a little bit. Like we're doing with the baseball stadiums over here. And then what happens? They throw it out. It ends up in the ocean. Throw it out in the fucking Mediterranean Sea. That water, you know, the water that when you go over there, they try to say there's no sharks in them until you go on the internet. It's like, oh, yeah, I just saw there was a couple of attacks. Oh, yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of attacks, but, it's rare. Yeah, shark attacks in general are rare, considering most of us are on the fucking land. I don't know. I swam in the Mediterranean. I absolutely loved it. It was fucking life-changing. But afterwards, when I was reading about these shark attacks, there is just this fucking... It's the scariest thing. Other than being tortured, I'm trying to think, of stuff equal to that. Speaking of shark attacks, how do you not fucking go to that? Swing by Hitler's house. You go to the F1 race, and then you get yourself some Wiener Schnitzel. How do you not do that fucking trifecta? That's a bucket list thing right there. Before they tear it down. I mean, I was always a fan of The Omen. Always all those horror movies, those demon babies. How do you not fucking go there and just be like, he fucking learned how to walk in that house? It's just fascinating. Like the first time he lost his temper was in that house. First time he realized he could draw. I don't know how long he fucking stayed there. It's just eerie, you know what I mean? Look, if Universal Studios, if you can take the tour over there and they still have the fucking, the Psycho house, because everyone just wants to look at that. This is a real life fucking psycho. It shouldn't be glorified. I'm not glorifying it. It's the same reason why I want to see a great white shark from a boat. I don't fucking, this is so, as much as everybody fucking bitches, there's no way if you walk down the street, you couldn't fucking look at it. You couldn't feel that fucking vibe of evil coming off the side of the fucking house. I don't know, they're probably right. They should probably tear the fucking thing down. Why am I talking about Hitler's house? Can somebody explain it to me?